Hello, everyone, and welcome to this online healing retreat, Brain Boosters Frequency Medicine. We are in another month of frequency medicine. We've been receiving frequency medicine transmissions from Dr. Louise Swartswalter each week now, and we are feeling the difference with our brains. We can feel that we're sleeping better, that we feel more balanced, more centered. I can certainly say things are definitely moving at lightning speed, and sleep is very important. And personally, Brain Boosters, frequency medicine has helped me get that sleep. At least that's what I can put my finger on and recognize. So we thank you all for being here today, and we're going to learn from Dr. Louise Swartswalter more about the brain today and why, or actually what's going on with these frequencies and how it does affect our brain. So welcome back, Dr. Louise Swartswalter from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Albuquerque Natural Health Center. Welcome back.
Thank you, Lorraine. It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm excited to share with you more about the brain and about frequency medicine and how it affects your brain. We have these actual meetings in my office once a month, and then I do these webinars once a month as well for all of you out there. And today I wanted to talk about the parts of the brain a little bit and how the work that I do affects those parts of the brain and how it's really changing your brain. Now, they say when you change your brain, you change your life, and that is the truth. Because your brain and your nervous system really is your body's decision and communication center. So it's the central nervous system is made up of both your brain, your spinal cord, and your peripheral nervous system, which is made up of your nerves. And you know, when you experience pain anywhere in your body, it is registered in the nervous system. So if you hit your toe, you bang your toe, the only way you know it hurts is if the nerve sends an impulse to the brain and then your brain says, ouch, that hurts. So that's sort of the pathway. That's the nervous system pathway. Well, our brain is made up of different parts, and many of you have seen pictures of the brain. Maybe we could pull that picture up. And so there's different lobes of the brain. So the brain is made up of three parts. First, you have your forebrain, your midbrain, and your hindbrain. And within that forebrain, there's the cerebrum, the thalamus, and the hypothalamus, which are all part of what's called the limbic system. Then your midbrain has the tectum and the tegmentum. The hindbrain is made up of the cerebellum, the pons, and the medulla. It's the midbrain, the pons, and the medulla are together. They're considered the brain stem. And so many people will also go to chiropractors when they feel that their neck is out. Often it is something related in the brain stem. The cerebrum, or the cerebrum cortex, is the largest part of your human brain. And it's associated with thought and action. And this cortex is divided into 4 sections. And so the sections are the frontal lobe, and I know many of you have heard this. The frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the occipital lobe, and the temporal lobe. The frontal lobe is associated with reasoning. It's with planning. It's with our parts of speech. It has to do with movements and problem solving. So they say the frontal lobe isn't completely fully developed until we're about 25 years old. And it has to do with reasoning. So that's the reason that scientists talk about teenagers maybe not having a good sense of judgment, a good sense of cause and effect and understanding that is because the reasoning isn't completely developed until we're a little bit older. And yet we know the brain is plastic, meaning it can change. In fact, let me find this and read this to you. There's a tremendous amount of research that constantly is continually done on the brain. It's really fascinating work. And I had trouble with my brain. It wasn't working for years, and so I had to get my brain back. And so that's why I have this passion now. And what we find is again, I keep finding new things and new ways and better ways to work on the brain in many different areas. And many of you know that I do not just the frequency medicine, but Geo Tran work. And Geo Tran work does balance the brain, mind, body, and spirit. And it's working in the energy field and working with what we call an integration. And what I wanted to show you all today is the different lobes of the brain are connected to the 4 main integrations. And so the frontal lobe of the brain that's associated with reasoning and planning and parts of speech and movement and problem solving. The integration in Geo Tran that works on that is the living integration. And so the living integration is connected to the frontal lobe here. It also has to do with feeling worthy and feeling blessed. And so what an integration is it's working in the energy field with specific codes that are like spin points to help shift and release the old virus programs that don't serve you anymore and upgrade you to a new program. It's like upgrading you to Windows 10. So it's putting in what it is you do want to create in your life, in your energy field, and in your brain. And it does shift your life. It's amazing work. The parietal brain, the parietal lobe of the brain, is associated with movement, orientation, recognition, perception of stimuli, and also digestion of, recognition, perception of stimuli. What happens is that then that lobe of the brain is correlated with the peace integration. And the peace integration also has to do with digestion. So it's digestion of any violation in your life. So you're going to start to see that each one of these integrations works not only on a different lobe of your brain, but helps you become more whole, more you, more 100% who you are, who your soul level is, who you are. So the occipital lobe of the brain is associated with visual processing, and it's connected to the miracle integration. And the miracle integration is called that because it truly is a miracle. It is the first integration in this line of work, and it's associated with visual processing and also relationship to self, relationship to your world. It includes the reading ring, the writing ring, the hearing ring, the memory ring. So that integration also, when I started doing this work, shifted my dyslexic students. And I watched amazing changes in each of those children. I still can recall Rachel didn't need as much speech and language therapy after doing that integration. David's writing skills were better. AJ had a better processing ability. He seemed to process information better as I was teaching him how to read. So in the past, I was a dyslexic therapist, and so I worked a lot with children. I worked with children and adults, teaching them to read, write, and spell. And I would actually test them with the reading test, the Woodcock-Johnson reading test, and then show the differences and the changes. And they would jump 2 and 3 grade levels in a year because I was using a multi-sensory program. Then I got all my biofeedback programs and this work that I'm sharing with you right now, Geo Tran, and started doing the miracle integration on those students. And I couldn't believe the changes in them. And I really was just literally just experimenting and playing with the work, just following the directions, following a recipe book, if you will, on how to do it. And I watched those changes. The temporal lobe of the brain is associated with perception and recognition of auditory stimuli, memory, and speech. And that correlates to the 4-in-1 integration. And the 4-in-1 integration also helps you feel more worthy and blessed in your life. So it's releasing again, those old virus programs and putting in a new one. So I've watched amazing things happen with just this work, in addition to blending this with the frequency work that you guys are all used to, that we've been doing now for the last month and a half here. And so I love the results. I just love the results and what can really happen. And so here's just a synopsis again of those integrations, and I invite you all to experience those. I've had many questions on whether you can do that long distance or not. And yes, I'm going to say yes and no for two reasons. Because it is very experiential work, experiencing the integration in person, because there's movement involved, it's muscle testing, it's working with codes directly on your body, is very, very powerful. Can it be done long distance? Yes. There are some sensitive people that will definitely feel an integration when I do it on a surrogate for them, or I do it on myself for them. So I do that every day. But I also invite you all to be a part of our online. So there's an online intro class to Geo Tran that's coming up, and you will learn the basics. So you will begin to release the virus programs that are stuck in your field. It would be like running a virus scan on your computer and at least doing the beginning part, doing the first steps to begin to change your life. And so that's what the intro class on Geo Tran will be, and that's coming up, I believe we've got that coming up October 27th. I will have Loren put that link up for you all so you know how to register for that class. So I'm really excited to offer that to everybody so they can experience this, because I've had so many people ask, can we do it long distance? Can we come? Can we be a part of the class? So this is your opportunity to at least be part of the introduction. So very exciting. And then I have done work on myself for all of you, and usually I do that at the end of our time together here so that you can experience it and feel it in the energy field. So we'll do that as well. So that is just super exciting work. I just did receive some emails today because I worked on the group last night, and they said they're sleeping better and they feel more refreshed this morning and things seem really good. We did a meeting last night, and people shared that they look forward to Thursday because they usually have a much better Thursday. It seems to sort of pick them up on a Wednesday when I work on the group on Wednesday night. So that's also exciting. And I also invite all of you to please share with us, please email Loren or myself, what's going on with you and how what you're experiencing in this group. Many of you know that I use a couple different biofeedback programs, and I actually have one working now on the group. And if I could show my screen here, Loren, I'll show people a little bit of what's happening with them. All right, here we go. So this is just the sinuses. We had requests to work on sinuses, and so I thought I would do the sinuses, and the improvement went to 100% already. But what I usually do is I make sure that I do the circulation of the brain. And so what would happen is I select all of these and then begin to scan the brain here, and it's working on the circulation of your brain. And so this is for the whole Brain Boosters group. So you are all loaded into this computer. It knows you by your name, your birthday, and where you were born, and it's beginning to work on your circulation of your brain here. So these results at the top here, the artery and then the vena and then the dura mater, the computer chose that based on the group. If you were an individual client, it would come up with what you personally needed just for you. And what I would normally do, and again, we won't do this right now for just for purposes of the webinar, But I would wait to see the improvement go to close to 100% in this column, meaning that the group then actually received this and it began to sort of correct or rebalance in their bodies. And so that's really what's happening. And it will be different every time, meaning that there may be other issues that are out of balance. At the top here would be different parts of the circulation of the brain that need more help this week than last week, let's say. And so that's circulation of the brain. We can see it's already correcting fairly quickly here.
So just to clarify, for those listening, these are actual frequency transmissions right now at this moment going out to every person around the planet who is in this group.
And the best way to describe it, in today's language is it's sending a frequency much like you can send a fax or a text message. Because people are like, how does it reach me? How do I know I'm getting it? Well, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. We've got people sleeping better and their lives are changing and they're more positive. When I put husbands and wives in the group, I get emails from the wife saying my husband is doing better, we're communicating better, things are changing in our lives, thank you so much. My daughter's now speaking with me. She's been in the group for a month. We weren't talking for a few years. It feels like those hard feelings have been dissipated. Someone last night shared with us, they said, it feels like everything is smoother in my life. I'm not getting so upset about things. I'm less stressed, and there's a lot of synchronicity showing up. And so it is an amazing support right now in the times that we're in where things seem to be going so fast we can hardly keep up. And so then that besides circulation of the brain, I often do the nerves of the brain. What's interesting to me as sort of a scientist person is by the end of the group, so the group runs for 3 months, I will see that most of these are not out of balance. Only the top 3 or 4 are needing help. And it feels like everybody's brains, their nerves and their circulation, their whole nervous system has calmed down and everything has shifted. And that is the feedback that I get from people. But this is, what I'm working on here is my proof, too. I'm getting to see the changes that are occurring for people, and it's really, really beautiful to see. The other thing that I notice, and all of you out there may notice this in your lives, in the group setting, in the actual physical group setting in my office last night, we talked about how it was absolutely amazing that people were in more harmony. So the first time, the very first Brain Boosters meeting, there's this energy of discord and disharmony and maybe out of balance, if you will. And then because we are all in this group together, because everything is energy and I'm working on the group as a whole, people seem more harmonized. We could work together to create these amazing affirmations and to do an integration on the whole group. And there's a flow that seems to occur. And everybody did mention that last night, and it was just really beautiful to see. There's one mom in the group who is a nurse, and her 2 children are in the group, and she had fibromyalgia, and her whole life is changing. She can now raise her arms, and she had a lot of shoulder pain before. And her kids are paying attention. They're able to sit longer. Their attention span is better. So that was really, really delightful, and they feel it. So they feel it. So they're like 4 and 6 years old, and they could totally feel the changes. In fact, the little girl just comes up and hugs me. She knows. It's like she knows what's happening in her world. And then the 4-year-old, the boy, came in at the end of our meeting when we were doing an integration, and he said, "I love you." And you could just feel that he was feeling the energy that we were submitting, and, you know, totally just in tune with, hey, I'm feeling these frequencies, and it's making me feel stronger and more connected to all of you. So that beauty, that grace, that balance, I don't know how to explain it. It gives me a high. It just does. I just love watching it in people. It's amazing. So this is working on the nerves of the brain right now. And honestly, I don't know what I would do, because I do these 80-hour weeks, and it feels like, hey, if I didn't have my machines, I don't know if I could do it all. While it's doing this, I also would like to share with you, I guess I'm going to call it a trauma release technique, because I believe I sent an email out to everybody on this, and it's a release technique that I've been using lately, and I'm getting incredible results with it. And it's almost like a hypnotherapy technique, where you go back in time and you figure out a core issue for somebody, and you're zeroing in on those early imprints that get stuck. And those actually do get stuck in different parts of the brain. So most of the time it has something to do with places where we've been invalidated or made to feel less than or guilty or shamed. And by using this trauma release technique, coupled with biofeedback, you can erase those imprints from your subconscious and allow you to be you. In fact, it's most like a hypnotherapy type of session, where you totally are working with the subconscious brain. But what I'm finding is there's many emotional code type of, there's emotion code work that's amazing. There's access consciousness work you guys are probably familiar with. There's reconnection work. There's all kinds of ways to work with this. If you don't go back, though, to that very beginning and release the imprint of the very beginning, it feels like there's more layers to do later. And that's just what it is feeling like to me. And you're going to notice I use the word feeling a lot, because I'm pretty intuitive and I feel things in people. And so yesterday I did a session with a young woman who's had a lot of trauma in her life and is pretty much almost homeless. She's a counselor, and she's working with difficult people, mentally ill people. And she's taking on their energy. And so we had to release that energy from her field and actually go back to the initial program, which was in the womb. So in the womb, she wasn't wanted. She found out later that Dad said, "Hey, we may want to, you know, we need to abort this baby." And so the emotions, again, everything is emotions. The emotions that she had in the womb continue to precipitate in her life. Like they continue to create a pattern, the same type of thing over and over again. And they will. It's like a magnet, and it keeps attracting the same kinds of issues in her life. And so we went through and named all those present time issues, and then we went back to the past and we cleared it. And she left completely different. Her face changed. Her mother was like, "Wow, you don't even look like the same person." I'm telling you this story because I want you to know that there is, if you're experiencing something and your stuff's coming up for you to clear, call me. Don't like waddle in it. Find some help out there. Someone that can help you release that stuff. Journaling is a good way to do it as well, because there's a lot of intense energy right now and people are needing help. That's what I'm feeling. With this example of this young woman, I felt so much that she needed a miracle integration that I'm going to go in today on my day off and do a miracle integration on her, the Geo Tran work, to help shift some things in the energy field so that we can really complete this work for her before she goes back. She's got to go back to the West Coast. So she's only here for a few days. So there's, again, a combination of things that will work for you to help get your brain back in balance. It's not just about what I'm doing here on the screen that's going to help you. It's those emotions that get stuck that create these lesions in the brain. It's like cellular memory gets stuck in different places. And often it doesn't have to be a big abusive trauma. It can be somebody, you know, took your toy away when you were 3. And your brain doesn't know the difference between that event and if you had a big accident. It doesn't register as if this is a 10 and that's only a 3. It doesn't know the difference. All it knows is it was a trauma, and it keeps those emotions then stuck in that portion of wherever it got stuck in your brain. And so part of brain work definitely is working with the emotions and working in the energy field. And so I like to help people see that it's not just working with your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, and your spiritual body, but we have to work in the energy field as well and shift the pattern in the field. And that's what we're able to do with the frequency medicine and the Geo Tran work combined. And so it feels to me, and this is the comments that I get from all my clients, that it's like what I call taking them further faster. It's allowing that to dissolve more quickly and for them to get back to life and get back to being 100% who they are. And that is such a gift. It's just such a gift to be able to help people do that.
Yes, it's really amazing. It's amazing that it's in the energy field, as all illness begins in the field. So it's clearing out the field.
Right. It is about the field. And so, you know, so what we, I guess, let's see, let's do this. So let's do some of that field work right now. I may let this go in the background. I often do the hypothalamus. And so, Loren, let's do this. Let's go into the Solfeggio frequencies now and have people, let's release some of this stuff in the field. So people can feel different on this, really different after this call, after this webinar today. So I'm going to just let this work on the hypothalamus while I pull up those Solfeggio frequencies. So each one of these frequencies, they were used by the Gregorian, they were used in the ancient Gregorian chants, and they were special tones. Let's turn it down a little bit. And they were believed to impart tremendous spiritual blessings when sung in harmony during their religious masses. But each one of these tones has to do with something different. The 528 frequency is the one that's most probably noted, or most people may know about. And it's called the miracle frequency. And biochemists have found that it actually does repair the DNA. So part of the group is you experiencing this. So I actually, in the Brain Boosters group, play these frequencies for about at least a half an hour every week. And what's happening is it's beginning to shift you. And even if you're not hearing them and they're done in subspace, which means just long distance, It's shifting people on a daily basis. Do you have the other wheel? Let's see. It describes. Yeah, that one. Okay, so 396 is liberating guilt and fear. 417 is facilitating change. 528 is repairing the DNA. 639 is connecting and understanding relationships. 741 is awakening intuition. 852 is returning to spiritual order. 963 is connect with light and spirit. 174 is removing pain. And 285 is influencing the energy fields. So as it's going around the circle here, it's giving you each one of these frequencies to begin to make these changes in you. This is also part of helping you all sleep better. So when these frequencies are received, you're beginning to liberate that guilt and that fear, facilitate the change, connect relationships, repair your DNA. All those things are happening when you're hearing this. And so I invite you to close your eyes for a moment and just allow those shifts to occur. Feel yourself letting go. Just let go of the pain. Let go of the worry. Let go of the chaos in your brain. Allow yourself to be here now. Allow those changes to occur. Allow yourself to connect and be there with yourself as well as others. Be in present time. Allow every cell in your body to be whole and perfect and vibrating at a high frequency. Allow your intuition to be keen, to be strong, and for you to trust it. Allow yourself to come back to your soul's truth, to your spiritual order. And connect more deeply with the divine, with the light, with spirit, with God. Very good. Good job, everybody. I'm going to lower those sounds. They're still playing in the background, so you're still actually receiving those. But I just lowered them in the background. And I actually on Sunday sometimes give the group some extra work. And so on Sunday I will play these for half an hour. I have 10 groups in there, so I have to do it 10 times. And so Sunday seems the best day for me to do that. And so I actually just set a timer, and I just set it for 30 minutes, and I put on group 1 and go do my laundry and come back and put on group 2. And so you are all receiving some extra Solfeggio frequencies many Sundays. Not every Sunday, but if I don't have time during the week, I often will pull you all up again on Sunday and work on you as a group as well. So if you have a great Sunday, you can be thinking of that. You can say, hey, maybe there's some frequency work being done on me today, or maybe I'm just having a great day, and thank you, God, right? So that's awesome. I do want to share with you, our group last night came up with some amazing affirmations. So I want to share with you what those are, and then also leave you with a mini integration. So this is, again, part of the Geo Tran work. It's the codes that I use in the energy field in addition to the frequency medicine, and I find that combination together is pretty cool, pretty amazing. So these were our affirmations, and typically what we do is we state these together as a group. I muscle test them, and usually they're bringing up stress. So that just means that it is something that we need to shift in the energy field. And then I'll work with these codes on a surrogate for the group. And then we retest them and we restate them. So, and the first part of this that I always have everybody do before we even begin is mind gems. And so mind gems is it's a very initial part of the Geo Tran work. It balances all 12 brain rings. So you're beginning to balance your brain every time you do those. So it's an awesome tool. I've had people email me or call me and say, you know what, I did mind gems and my headache went away. So they're balancing your brain in another way. So I again invite you to use that tool. If you haven't done those mind gems, please begin those. You can download those off the website and work with that. And here's our affirmations. So I did my mind gems this morning. I hope you did as well. So we'll go right into these right now. My brain is balanced right to left, back to front. It's in alignment and harmony with the whole. I'm at peace and focused on the harmony, happiness, and safety in my environment. I tell myself I'm okay. I can do it. I'm enough. Life is good. I feel relieved and joyous. I'm in tune with all that is, and I'm in service to the Creator. 2-3 love. 5-3 forgiveness. 6-5 choice. 9-2 freedom. 4-2 greater love. 4-2 2-2 4-4 6-2. 1-4-7. Next slide. 4-5 1-6 1-6 8-6 6-8. 3-9 26 complete cycles. 5,859 times. 2-8 23 complete cycles. 2,363 times. 3-7-5 3-7-7 4-5 8-6 4-6-9 4-6-7. Releasing the trauma. 10-5-7-8 2-8-7-7-5 and a shock. 1-2-3 5-11 37 complete cycles. 87,007 times. 2-8 24 complete cycles. 32 times. 16 4-7-6-2 6-2. I choose to be me. 7-1. I choose to allow myself to serve God. 7-4-5. I choose to allow myself to thrive. 4-1-7-2. I choose to win the crusade. 4-1-7-2. I choose to excel. 4-1-7-2 9-4-7. I choose to be in the now. 4-9-1-7-4-2-1. I choose to be, and then state your full name. 1-4-7 4-2-1 9-4-7-2. I choose to know my name. 4-9-4 1-4-2 9-4-1. And I pray for all that is now. Awesome. Okay, so then we retest. And I would state these again. And so I'm muscle testing somebody usually when I do this. Right now I'm just testing myself for all of you. My brain is balanced. Right to left, back to front, and it's in alignment and harmony with the whole. I'm at peace and focused on the harmony, happiness, and safety in my environment. I tell myself I'm okay. I can do it. I'm enough. Life is good. I feel relieved and joyous. I'm in tune with all that is, and I'm in service to the Creator. And then we lock it in. And so I invite you to tap your belly button 8 times. And that will lock it. And that will lock this goal or these intentions in your energy field. So that's called a mini integration. I again invite you all to be a part of the Intro Geo Tran class, which is coming up, and there's a link. You can sign up for that. So we are excited to bring that all to you. I've had, again, so many questions about this work, and wanted to find a way to get it out there and really bring it to the whole, really bring it to all of you who are out there and maybe can't travel right now. In the future, hopefully you'll be able to attend a class in person, because it really is life-changing. It's what got me in my first office and now my second office. It's totally allowed me to grow in a way that I don't know that I would have otherwise. So again, I thank you so much. Lorraine, I don't know if we have any questions or any comments from people, if you've received any emails from anybody that we want to go over, but I again invite all of you, and I appreciate all your feedback, so thank you again for all of your feedback and for just being a part of this journey with us together. It's been great.
Well, great. Thank you. Just some good comments coming in saying thank you, Louise. And also technical questions. You can see the next webinar coming up with us. There's a special link that we will email you. And if you are here as a 1-month participant, then we encourage you to go back to the page to sign up and register for the next 2 months. That price has been reduced for $111 for 2 more months of energy transmissions each week, and they're also ongoing, and you can put a loved one in for free with that as well. So that is the news for everyone, and let us know how you're doing. We would always love to hear from you. Thank you, Louise.
Thank you so much, Lorraine. This is such a pleasure.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.